What's going on, YouTube? rdapdan here. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you guys all had a really good week or a good weekend. And we're all here to start off and kick off a new week. So happy Monday. I am absolutely exhausted. Been going since about 5 this morning. So I was having technical problems getting everything going today. Hopefully most of you got the new text message. We got the text service back up and running. Found out what had happened. We had to switch to a different company. The company we were using no longer serviced for some reason. I'm not sure what happened there, but anyway, hopefully all of you guys are back up. Everybody's got their text. Mr. Merrick, what's going on? And as you guys can see, the topic of this video, we're going to talk a little bit about Alderson's Women's Federal Prison and some serious allegations that have been brought to this prison with staff having, we're not talking about just regular staff, we're talking about like higher ups within the prison system having sexual relationships with inmates. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, and I'm going to explain to you where I got my information from. As far as I'm concerned, this is allegedly right now. I have not been able to verify it, so if the BOP is watching this, this is allegedly from information, and I'm going to show you where I got the information from off the internet. And it is a pretty credible source, so that's why I decided to make this video today. And if it comes out to be inaccurate or false, well, we'll go ahead and post about that later on. So who do we got in here? We got Robert, what's going on? Merrick, Scott, and Miss Coley Adams. Any updates on Jesse? No, I have not heard anything about Jesse Tang, so I'm assuming, unless he pops into the video today, I'm assuming he's in custody at this point. And hopefully we'll hear something from friends or family from him in the near future. But until then, we just don't know. So we've got some exciting, some new things getting ready to take place over here at Federal Prison Time. We're getting ready to expand in some different arenas. We've got some really awesome partnerships that are going to be coming soon that are all going to benefit you guys that are potentially looking at a federal prison sentence, that you may need mitigation services, you may need paralegal services, you may need somebody just to go in and determine whether or not your PSR is being done right. You may need to have some assistance finding out what your actual custody level points are, not your base offense level, not your criminal history level, but your custody level to find out if you're a camp, low, medium. Some of you are on the border from like a camp to a low or from a low to a medium, depending on your past crimes, based on this crime, based on whether or not you're going to self-surrender. So those may be some questions that a lot of you have. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and head over to our website, rdapdan.com. and click on the members area. It's completely free. A lot of you have done it very recently. Within the members area, there is a section in there that will allow you to access our prison calculator to help you determine the best possible prison that you might want to go to and which prison and how you should ask for a recommendation to the sentencing judge. So that's all on our website, rdapdan.com. There's some serious things coming real soon with the blog. And we're in the process of getting a new office to expand a little bit to maintain the people that we have to bring on to help all of you. So we will be vlogging that process once it's said and done and we sign the lease. Looks like it might be tomorrow. So I will turn that into a video. So we are constantly going in a good direction here, and it's thanks to so many of you. And we've got the awesome, beautiful Jenny Good in the room with us because my fingers are not typing, but yet rdapdan is posting. Magical. So, oh, don't forget, I don't know where the pink one is. Your rdapdan wristbands. Let me find you a pink one real quick. In our magical bag of wristbands, you will find a pink band. There we go. If you want to get your rdapdan wristbands, all you need to do is head over to our website, rdapdan.com. Again, click on the members area. Become a member. There's an option on there to click on the link for rdapdan wristband, fill out your information. We need to send out another wave of wristbands here probably tomorrow. We had about another 15 or 20. We wait till we get about 10, 15 to do them at one time, so we're not sending out mail every single day. But yes, we are looking forward to that. And there we go. We got Jenny hanging out. Jenny waved at us. Hi, Jenny. So Jenny's doing some awesome things. She's there maintaining, doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of she's here helping out with this. She's helping out with letters. She's helping out with the blog. She's coordinating us getting a part-time blogger just to help maintain with the flow of the blog to make sure we can post it regularly. And she sent out everybody a nice message today that's on Core Links with an upbeat, positive Monday message. So every Monday we do our, what do we call it, Jenny? What's our Monday? Motivational Monday. I think that's what we called it. But she sent out a nice Motivational Monday email to everybody on Core Links, and we also post that on our blog just to get you guys going in the right direction. Hey, Sarah, how are you? You need to get purple and neon green bands. Oop. Siri thinks I'm talking to her. I'm not talking to you, Siri. But Siri just said she's happy to be here. I'm not making this up. So Siri's a fan of rdapdan. Well, thank you, Siri. I'm going to have to turn you off now. All right. I'm not sure how we got Siri on the message, but she popped on. So Motivation Monday, that's it. Who wants to see a purple band? So actually, one of the RDAP bands that I wore in RDAP, when you graduate RDAP, at least in Coleman, the band they give you is a purple band. And I'm just not a fan of the color. I mean, it's a nice band if you like purple. You know, we've got all kinds of different colors, but these aren't ones that we have bulk. These were the original rdapdan wristbands. These were RDAP bands. But wow, what a crazy for that to like have conceptualized into this where it is today. So anyway, thank you guys for where we are here in 2018, and we're just going further and further, trying to get everything prepped so I can enjoy this little bit of time. I'm going to Florida March 1st through the 15th. So if anybody's in the South Florida area and would like to, grab coffee, grab lunch, let me know. I am going to be heading back over to Coleman Prison while I'm there, and hopefully we'll have a really interesting video to bring you guys back from my journey back to prison, where Shelly and I first started this entire journey. We're actually going to go back to that place right here. This was the day that I took Shelly into prison for her to self-surrender. For those of you that don't know, this was the day Shelly turned herself in, and we were up there right next to the prison. We found this little pub. It was the only place that was open where we were able to go grab a quick lunch. And Shelly wanted to get a nice drink before she self-surrendered and turned herself in. So this will be interesting. This was August 11th, 2014. That's the date on the back of the picture. Shelly wrote it. This was the last time Shelly and I were together. We found a little bar not far from the prison. We left there to turn her in. Such a weird day. I love you, babe. See you soon. So I sent this to her while she was in prison. So that's going to be fun. We're going to go take a ride back over there. We're going to try to sit in the same seat. We don't remember the name of the bar, but we know where it is. But, it's just going back through some motions. Glow-in-the-dark wristbands. We'll have to work on that, Jenny. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about what's going on over here, possibly at Alderson Women's Prison. So I talked to a lot of people in different areas. Got a lot of different clients, a lot of different people that are focused on different areas of the whole prison movement, whether it's people getting ready to go to prison, whether it's prison reform, whether it's people getting out of prison, helping out with probation. We do have a guy that's going to be helping us that has a very specific science to assisting people getting off of probation early. So we're going to be interviewing him in about 2 weeks and bringing him out as part of the team. And the reason why we decided to talk about this today is I was informed that several members of Alderson Prison, several staff member, were actually taken out a couple days ago. They were escorted off the grounds for severe allegations of sexual misconduct. And we're actually here. Let me show you. So this is information. A lot of you know Amy from Can Do Foundation. So while I was reading this thread on Twitter, hey, Donald Trump posts stuff to Twitter, and if it's considered credible, Donald Trump says so, we can all now use Twitter as a credible source. So it's not in the public media yet. Hey, Diana, how are you? I haven't found anything on the news or anything, so they're keeping it hush-hush, but let's show you guys a little bit about it here. So hopefully you guys can see that. Let me open mine up because my eyes aren't that good. I can't see that far away. So we have Amy. So there's a couple of other tweets that were before that one, but for some reason you're not seeing them there. The first one says, sources just informed me that 20 minutes ago, the FBI escorted the warden, associate warden, captain, lieutenant, director of admin, plus others, all off Camp Alderson Federal Prison in West Virginia. Another reason why the National Guard was so deployed there. Then another person posted, yesterday, Alderson Federal Prison Camp was bombarded with federal agents where many staff members were arrested and escorted off the premises and replaced with new appointed staff. Then we have the FBI just escorted the warden, the same one you already saw. Then we have the one you're reading right there from Amy. This is what made me want to actually post it, because I saw Amy on here, and Amy says she has confirmed. We have confirmed the FBI is investigating staff at FCI Alderson, a women's prison camp, for a litany of sexual misconduct allegations, obstruction of justice, and possible embezzlement. We think this needs more sunshine. So basically, she agrees that if this is true, it definitely needs more exposure to the media, so it's not just brushed under the rug and it continues to happen there or other prisons. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this today. Then we have this other guy, G.W. Pierce. He posted on there. He actually posted names. Alderson Federal Prison Crimes. Captain Grimes, sex with 6 inmates and trafficking drugs into the prison. Lieutenant Hall, having a sexual, can you guys see that? Is that on there? You guys aren't seeing that one. Interesting. Okay, so for some reason you can't see the one I'm seeing. But it's Captain Gaines, sex with 6 inmates and trafficking drugs into the prison. Lieutenant Hall, having an affair and sex with an inmate. Warden Wilson, obstruction of justice. And Associate Warden Alvizia, A-L-V-I-Z-I-A, obstruction. So these are some of the allegations that have been made to what's going on right now with all of this over Alderson Prison. Now, I have yet to see anywhere where this has been verified. However, if Amy from the Can Do Foundation is saying that she was able to verify it and that she was able to back it up with facts, that to me, I don't think she would do that if she didn't have that information. So that is pretty interesting to say the least. And the reason why, can I zoom in? I apologize, Jenny. I don't know if I can zoom in on that. Let's see, guys. Let's see if I can zoom in on Amy here. I don't think I can. And if I can, I don't know how to do it yet. Apologize. Apologize if you can't read that. So, if that information is true, okay, again, you guys all have to realize the point of my channel and what I feel like is important, what I'm all about, is not just to bash staff, bash the authority, bash the prison system, talk about reform. Now, not to say there's not truth to all of those topics. Reform is needed. There could be corrupt staff. But at the same time, in any industry we go in, there could be corruption. You can't blame an industry because of some bad seeds. Now, what that industry does, once they find out there's bad seeds there, how they try to protect it from continuing to happen, now that, to me, is more important than what actually took place. You can't control what somebody else is going to do until they've done it. And then once they do it, as long as you're taking appropriate action, to me is just as important. We focus a lot on this channel on taking responsibility, owning to what we did, realizing that most of us put ourselves in a situation that is now allowing us to get, where we're looking at getting indicted and we're being investigated, and we're looking at going to prison, and we're looking at probation. Nobody wants to go through any of that. Nobody does. I didn't want to go through it. I know you guys don't want to go through it. And it's very important. It's also very easy to find ourselves in a situation to where we're blaming other people for saying, we need prison reform, or why are they sending me to prison for what I did? Other people do much worse things than what I'm doing. People are out there murdering people, getting less time than what I did. Stop trying to find a reason to justify why you shouldn't be getting in trouble. What we need to focus on is looking internally and saying, what could I have done differently so I don't put myself back in this situation to allow what I might think is an unfair system to have a say in my situation, in my life. So that to me is number one. Number two, when we do see things that are corrupt, and we do hear stories like this, it's important that the stories are not brushed under the rug, because it's not just to say how bad the BOP is. It's to say, hey, there's bad people in every industry, and what are the leaders that are in charge going to do about it? How are they going to protect women going to prison? It's already scary enough going to prison. Now, to be clear, I don't think, the way I read this, it doesn't sound like anybody was forced to have sex. Granted, you can't give consent in prison. You cannot be a female or male in prison giving sexual consent to staff. Now, we know you can't give consent, but again, I don't think these women were raped. They may have been offered nice things. There might have been money. There might have been, I heard of women doing crazy things just for some perfume and some makeup. My point is if you're a woman and you're watching this video and you're going to a camp or a low, don't get the idea that these women were all like brutally raped by staff. I do not think that was the situation. I think these women engaged in relationships with the men, and the men were in the wrong no matter what. No matter how willing the situation was, you are, as a staff member, you are not allowed to do that. From my understanding, if you're found guilty of doing that, you have to register as a sex offender, and you more than likely will be going to prison. I'm pretty sure it's like a rape charge. Even though the person wasn't being held down against their will, an inmate does not have the ability to give consent. So want to really make a dictation there on separating those two, because I don't want to freak you out if you're a female going to prison. Just like anywhere else, guys are guys, and they're going to, get crazy thoughts in their mind, and they're not going to think things through, and they might make these disastrous decisions in their own life, just like a lot of us made poor choices that got us to where we are. Trust me, when these COs, the captains, the lieutenants, the warden, whoever did this, they are going to face consequences for this. And hopefully those consequences will be public, so it will set an example down the line. So if other people are thinking about doing this, it will prevent it. Trying to hide it and cover it up doesn't really work too well in the real world, especially not in this day and age where we have cameras and internet and cell phones just everywhere. George Gomez, hey there, rdapdan. I just came from change of plea. The judge let me stay out until sentencing on May 22nd. Awesome, George. Congratulations on that. You must be super excited. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you out with your situation while you're waiting, because that gives you a lot of time to put a lot of situations into play, being you're not getting sentenced till May 21st. There's a lot you can be doing between now and May 21st that can really potentially impact the possible outcome of your sentence. Just what are you willing to do about it? Robert, how long is that light bulb going to sit on the windowsill? Really, Robert? That's what you're I'm going to move it right now for you, Robert. Robert's got to call me out. My light bulb, I do need to put this away. We're going to take care of this. It's probably going to sit right here off camera, so you'll never see it again. Damn you, Robert. Robert's calling me out for light bulbs. Don't worry, we got a new shiny office coming soon to a theater near you, featuring rdapdan and team. What else we got going on? Sarah finds that funny. Robert finds that funny. So what do I got to do to get some more subscribers here? You guys got to help me out. We really got to grow this YouTube channel. It's growing. I mean, we got 2,000 subscribers. I can't complain. But Mike Winters, what's going on? Everyone's laughing. Glad you guys find that funny. Light bulb. What do we got to do to get a couple hundred people in these rooms, watching these rooms? And I've got some pretty good ideas. We've got some awesome interviews. We got an interview tomorrow with a lady that is self-surrendering in like a week. Self-surrendering in like 2 weeks. We're going to be interviewing her. I did have an interview set up for Wednesday, but I forgot it's Valentine's Day. So I won't be doing the interview on Wednesday. I'll be doing an interview on Thursday with another lady that received probation. This is going to be a face-to-face interview. We're actually going to be setting up in the studio, and we're going to have it's not going to be a live video. It's going to be a pre-recorded video. So that video will probably be out next week once I get it edited. She received probation. She was a client that did not think she was getting probation. She was a client that was by all means necessary, she probably should have received a prison sentence based on other people in her same situation. But what she did with her time and how she manifested her destiny by putting in a plan of action, and what the work and effort she put into her letters, her narrative, her character reference letters, being prepared, understanding what to do with the PSR interview, showing the judge that she was serious, the classes that she engaged in, the community service that she was engaged in. All of these things had a traumatic outcome on her sentencing. I got to tell you, if you're out there looking at potential prison consultants, you got to remember, don't just go with the fanciest, flashiest, whatever, fanciest website, fanciest sales pitch. I've been in the business forever. Who their partners are, or I'm partnered with this guy, and this guy's famous, and he's my partner. Remember, what you're getting is somebody that's going to be with you. Hopefully, they're going to be with you through this journey. That's to put your situation in your life into a better situation for the best possible outcome. And there's nothing worse than finding out halfway through or 3/4 the way through that things should have been way different from what they were. You should have gotten additional services. And not that you paid for additional services, but because you didn't know the right questions to ask. If the only thing you're getting from your prison consultant is a couple of phone calls and one personal narrative, if all you're getting is the personal narrative, you're not getting what is really needed. And now somebody might give you a sample, or they might give you an outline of like, hey, this is what you got to do with your character reference letters. If they're not taking your personal narrative and your character reference letters back from you after you do them and going over them and making edits and making recommendations and talking to the people that are going to be writing on your behalf, if they're just giving you these samples and telling you to go from there, you're really opening yourself up for either potentially completely wasting your time or having something written down that could cause more harm than good the day of sentencing. So make sure when you're employing anybody to help you, your attorney, your consultant, whoever it is, make sure you know the questions to ask. Make sure they're working on all of your letters, not just one of them, because this keeps happening. We just got another client a couple days ago. We're probably going to have her on here real soon. She went with another prison consultant. She paid a lot of money, and what she told me was she just doesn't feel like he cares. She doesn't feel like he's putting any effort in. And this is a big name in the industry, and it was kind of sad to hear that, because these are some of the names, these are some of the people that I looked up to when I was getting into doing this. And these are some of the reasons that I got into why I got into what I'm doing, because I really felt that they cared. But hearing the same, now when you hear this story once, you might go, okay, this person maybe had a bad experience, and that's their perception. But when you hear the same story over and over and over and over again about the same people, you start to wonder what happened. When did they change? When did they get more focused on charging ridiculous amounts of money and doing less work? When did that mix become okay? And it's only okay because we don't do our homework as human beings, and we just listen to whatever somebody says over the phone or through email or through YouTube. And if we don't do our homework and we don't do our research and we're not holding somebody accountable, when we don't get what we think we paid for, it's probably going to be our fault for not doing more homework up front. So guys, do your homework, or else you're the one going to prison, not me, not your other prison consultant, not your attorney. So it's up to you to make these necessary steps of holding people accountable to make sure you do get that best possible outcome. All these crazy rumors you hear that you cannot get RDAP and Second Chance Act, it's completely not true. You can get RDAP, get the time off for RDAP, and you can also receive additional time for the Second Chance Act. A lot of people, I hear a lot of prison consultants saying that you can't get both together. I don't know where they heard that from. I don't know what crazy Google they Googled to find that, but it is absolutely not true. I received 12 months off for RDAP, and I also received 11 months halfway house. So when you're being considered for halfway house, before the Second Chance Act was put in play several years ago, you had to be considered for 6 months. Once the Second Chance Act became what it is today, where you can receive up to a year, now everybody that is eligible for halfway house must be considered for 12 months. Doesn't mean they have to give it to you, just means you need to be considered. So how do you know if you're getting Second Chance Act? Well, if you're given halfway house time anything more than 6 months, that is part of the Second Chance. So if you're getting halfway house beyond 6 months, you're into the Second Chance Act. So I was given 11 months halfway house, which means I received 5 months of federal halfway house. in addition to my year off for RDAP. So it is very possible. The other thing prison consultants will tell you when they're like, well, I heard rdapdan say he got it. So let's play this scenario out. Well, Jim, you can't get time off for RDAP and get Second Chance Act. Jim replies, well, Mr. Prison Consultant, I was watching a video with rdapdan and he received 12 months off and he got 11 months federal halfway house. Instead of going, oh, maybe you can get it, instead they go, well, he cooperated with the government. That's why he got it. He got it for snitching. Dude, get the fuck out of here. That has nothing to do whether you get a 5K1, no 5K1, Rule 35, no Rule 35, cooperation, no cooperation. That has nothing to do with applying and getting additional halfway house time. It has nothing to do with it. That's somebody that likes to always be right. And when you challenge their thought, instead of going, you know what? Let me go find out. Let me go ask. They just give you some bullshit answer. Now they're misdirecting you and causing you more harm than good. So if you're hearing conflicting information, you need to do your research. I'm not here to confuse you. If I don't know the answer for something, I will find out. I had an amazing phone call today with a gentleman that has some amazing services that I think will complement what we're doing. And he's got it. I mean, he's got certain things down. Like we talk about figuring out and calculating your custody level. Everybody wants to know, am I going to a camp or a low? Most of you, it's a no-brainer because of your crime. You've never been in trouble. Most of you, we already know you're going to a camp unless you have like open warrants or open case or something like that. But some of you might have several DUIs and you've got, a couple little things in your past, little misdemeanors that are stacked up. And now you're not sure because now your criminal history level is higher. You're not sure if you're going to a camp. That 3-point self-surrender reduction to your custody level can really make a huge difference. These are things that you may not know, and we have somebody that can iron this out real fast within about 24 to 48 hour turnaround time, maybe 72 hours, but within a week for sure, turnaround time to answering those questions. So these are all benefits and services that we want to bring to you. It shouldn't be much longer. It's been a week. Hey, Tamara. What did I miss? I feel like it's going to be a long time. The whole jail is on lockdown. Yeah, I don't think I'm just catching up on what you guys are talking about here. They typically aren't going to tell you when lockdown's going to be over. That's part of the punishment is kind of the prison game. The prison punishments a lot of the time are the waiting game and allowing you to wonder what's next without giving you any real like navigation of how to figure out what's going to happen. When are they going to call you? When are they going to pull off lockdown? When is that going to be done? They do that intentionally because it's part of the punishment. It keeps your mind going, so you can't really plan for anything. It just keeps you going. What's next? What's next? What's next? And especially with these higher security prisons, these inmates just their stupidity and their violence that they engage in just ruins it for everybody else. And then the prison goes on lockdown, then everybody wants to get mad at the prison. No, get mad at the guy that decided to be part of this violent activity that has caused everybody to go on lockdown. That's definitely part of the punishment of going to a higher security prison is you got to deal with all of those uncomfortable situations that really take any kind of comfort away from you because now you're locked down. Can't contact your loved ones. Your loved ones can't contact you. You're pretty much held to snail mail and snail mail only. Sarah, it's very annoying. It's very stressful, but you got to hold on to what that feels like and just remember to embark that on your loved one and say, look, we're in this situation because you did something at some point which put yourself here. The prison being locked down, that just goes with the territory. That is going to happen. When I was at the low, I think we got locked down once or twice the entire time I was there, so it was no big deal. But we were right next to the pen, and we would always hear the pen on lockdown. I mean, Shelly worked at the camp, and whenever the pen had to be on lockdown, they would send the women to the camp to prepare food, clean the grounds, do maintenance inside the prison. And they were always going over there a couple of times a month So that prison was on lockdown weeks at a time. Sometimes they'd come off a lockdown for a day, then right back into lockdown again. So you've got to really understand that people that are there put themselves in that situation, and then they make the situation worse because they're involved in a gang, or they have to prove themselves, or they got to get in a fight, or whatever it is. They allow things to escalate. That's why prison is so feared when you see it on TV, because it's a bunch of barbaric, Neanderthal-minded type of people that allow this this movement to continue until people want to be treated like people. Prisons are always going to lock down, treat staff or treat inmates extra rough. And you got to remember, a lot of these guys that work at the pen, they don't just work at the pen. They work at the pen, the medium, the camps, the lows. So sometimes they're so jaded from their experience that they come from the pen, they go down to a low where it's a different security threat, but they're still on penitentiary time to where they're treating inmates the way they would treat them in a pen. So there's all kinds of emotions and things going on there. I'm not saying lockdowns are fun, and I would not want to have a loved one that was on lockdown that I could never ever talk to. That would be very frustrating, but make sure that frustration is staying focused on the real issue at hand, and it's allowing ourselves to make the decision to meet the consequence that led us to prison, and now we're in prison where we have very little control, and other inmates doing other stupid things affect what happens to us. So now we're completely in this environment that's just being affected by so many things that are outside of our control. It's part of the punishment. It's part of the consequence. It's the prison rules. Whether it's fair or not, it's the rules. So it's just like, think about it like this. If you and your friends are in a group together and you're all holding each other accountable, and one person keeps acting out and keeps doing something over and over and over again, and every time they do it, they punish everybody because you're all a group. One person screws up, they can't just isolate that one person, because then when somebody else does it, they don't have enough isolation booths to do that for the people in prison that continually want to do stupid things. So it's not like they can just keep moving people. The prison says, look, you want to do something stupid, you want to go stab somebody, the whole prison goes on lockdown, with hopes that people will say, hey, stop fucking up because you're making it hard for the rest of us. But unfortunately, it's almost like when you get out of prison and you can talk about how many times you were locked down, it's almost like a pride thing, or like I got so many stripes. I've talked to plenty of guys that came out of the pen, and they all talk about the same thing. They glorify that. They glorify the fact they were locked down. They glorify the fact that they witnessed fights. They glorify the fact that, oh, you were only at a low, you don't know. It's like they're proud to be at a higher. I'm like, I'm glad I don't know. I'm glad I wasn't there with like that type of lifestyle, because that just sounds so, barbaric. It sounds ridiculous that people want to live their lives like that, whether you're in prison or not. Why do you have to live your lives like that? So serious, how long you think lockdown will be for stabbing a CO? How long have they been locked down so far, Sarah? I mean, stabbing a CO, that's going to be a while. That's going to be a long time, stabbing a CO. When the pen was on lockdown for stabbing COs over at Coleman, they were locked down sometimes 30, 60 days for stabbing a CO. So I imagine a week. I imagine that's just the start. That's different. Stabbing an inmate, they get locked down for quite a bit of time. Stabbing a guard is, it's like you're stabbing one of their own kind. It's like shooting a cop. They're going to treat that differently. They're going to make sure that ripple effect goes through the prison and everybody feels it. So next time somebody thinks about attacking a CO, not to say the CO, I don't know anything about the situation. Did the CO deserve it? It's hard to say, does somebody deserve to get stabbed, but who knows what was going on, or who knows why they did it. Maybe they had to do it for some other reason. It's real serious. No, it is real serious, and that's part of the consequence. This is one of the things that while he's going through this, Sarah, he needs to really reflect on this and take notes and write in a little journal about what this means to him, and how him being there, not being able to contact you, how it's affecting you. I mean, look what it's putting you through right now. I read in 2013 they stabbed and killed a CO. Are you saying the same prison stabbed and killed a CO? Does it have how long they were on lockdown in that situation? And they were on lockdown 1 month. Okay, so figure if it's a month, you got 1 weekend, so 3 more weeks. That's rough. I don't wish that on anybody. My closest thing to lockdown was the 27 days I spent in a county over here where you live in a cell. You're there all day long except for a little bit of time to let you get out, take a shower, and make a quick phone call, then you're back in there. It's no fun. I did 21 months. It was race riots, stabbings. Mr. Merrick, I have clients that are actually that are in Canada. There's certain things that are different, but when it comes to letters, the writings, making sure you're prepared, understanding what you need to look forward to, finding out, obviously finding out what programs are available for your prison. And we do some research onto what the qualifications are to make sure you can possibly be qualified for any type of time reduction. But we have clients, and we actually have clients in quite a few different countries, believe it or not, that even just like state stuff, when you're writing letters for somebody, narratives, character reference letters, that doesn't matter what country you're in. What the story that goes into those letters and the vision that you're trying to paint and create is what matters. So absolutely, we would take clients in Canada. Merrick. So yeah, hopefully we're going to hear a little bit more about what's going on with Alderson. That's crazy. We always hear about guards and women doing stuff together, but in this situation, like we said here, let me pull it up on my computer. You guys can't see it, but they're saying the captain of the prison, Captain Grimes, and even somebody else was saying the warden was taken out and the assistant warden. So I don't know. We'll see. Captain Grimes, he's probably watching this right now. Are you watching this right now, Captain Grimes? If you did it, it's pretty grimy. But it's bad decisions. It's very, 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 very bad decisions. And when it comes to sexual misconduct, that's one of the most common mistakes that people make, even in any workplace. Men don't respond well when women give any type of what we might think as a signal. It might just be somebody being nice to you, and we assume, oh my God, they're being nice. That means they want to have sex. Guy's mind goes right to that. A man's mind, in a lot of cases, goes right to that. And in a position of power, working in a prison, having power over women, being able to do little things for them that means the world to that woman at the time, giving her some makeup, telling her she's pretty, or talking to her like she's a human being versus an inmate. Those are things that a woman could cater to real fast, and now you've got some females in there that are emotionally damaged from the situation they're in, engaging in a relationship with a CO who knows he's not allowed to do that, or a warden or a lieutenant or a captain that knows that's a big no-no and knows the consequences and still decides to do it. That just goes to show you how weak-minded some people really are. Oh, there's definitely going to be controlled movement after a stabbing. There's controlled movement in pens anyway. They don't have open movement in pens. We didn't have open movement in a low. We had controlled movement. The only time we had open movement was after 4 p.m. and on the weekends. Other than that, it was controlled movement. For those of you that are wondering, what's he talking about? So camps, for the most part, have open movement, where as long as it's not count time or a mandatory count or something weird going on, for the most part of the day, from morning to 4 p.m., open movement means you can go anywhere you want at any time you want of the day. You can go from your unit to the gym, to the library. You come and go as you want. Controlled movement is where you can go somewhere at the top of every hour on a controlled move. So at the top of every hour, you'll hear compound open or whatever they're going to yell over the loudspeaker. Compound open for movement. You have 10 minutes to go from wherever you're at to the next move. So you might want to go from like your unit to the gym, or you might want to go from the gym to the library. So you have to make sure you're ready to go to your next move. And then if you miss the move, compound closed. You're beat. You got to wait for the next top of the hour to move again. That typically doesn't happen in camps. Lows, most lows have controlled movement. Mediums, from my understanding, all mediums have controlled movement. And pens are always on controlled movement. This pen that you're referring to right now is not on a controlled movement. They're on lockdown, meaning there's no movement unless it's, being escorted somewhere to a shower, or, their food's brought into them. They'll bring people over from lower security prisons that will go prepare like bag lunches, and they'll get it through their cell doors. But they're on lockdown. There's no movement other than possibly a shower, and that's about it. No, when the pens are on lockdown, there's no going to the chow. It's brought to them. I know a lot of people that work in the camps, and when the prisons are on, and when the pens and mediums are on lockdown, the camp people go to the prison, to the mediums and the pens, and get the food prepared, and then it's brought into their units, and then it's brought into their cells through the door. So it's they don't even get to go to the chow hall. It's not that kind of movement. It's too cold food. Yeah, it's cold. By the time they get it, it's probably sandwiches. It's probably not even the same type of food. Sandwiches, an apple, banana. It's kind of like the bag lunch deal. A bologna sandwich. There you go. Bologna sandwich for weeks. Yes. That's part of the punishment too, is they're not getting the normal food. A lot of them, they don't even get commissary when they're on that type of lockdown. For a serious lockdown like that, you can better believe that they're making the whole prison pay for it right now. For stabbing a CO, it's just, there's consequences, repercussions that are going to affect everybody from doing that. I read up here earlier, somebody said something about, I thought I saw something from After Prison Show. Maybe I was seeing things. Oh yeah, Mr. Merrick. Do a rap video like Joe. No. Nope, not going to do a rap video. Not the rapping type. I did have somebody that made a rap video and sent it to me, but I can't even post it. It's too ridiculous. Maybe someday. That would be behind the scenes. So Jenny, I don't know if you're still here, but as you can see, Jenny has access to my YouTube account because she does a lot of our moderating. And I forgot I've got videos that are set to private, stuff that I never posted when I was like testing my microphone and stuff that was just for me and not thinking anybody's ever going to see this stuff. And she called me today cracking up. I guess, I don't know, a year and a half ago when I bought my microphones, I was testing them and they weren't working properly and I was getting aggravated and angry, and she was cracking up at me talking to my microphone. So I thought that was funny because that's totally me. Like, I get very frustrated when things don't work the way they're supposed to, even though I know nothing is ever going to work the way it's supposed to, right? Thursday should be interesting. This studio shoot we're going to be doing, this interview where we're interviewing the lady that received probation. Oh man, it's going to be fun. The outcome is going to be nice, but we're going to have 3 cameras set up and lights and microphones. I mean, it's like a legit little production, and just going to be, I'm not looking forward to doing it. I'm looking forward to it being done and edited. I wish that's honestly the next angel that falls from the sky that wants to join the rdapdan team, just falls down. Please be a video editor, like available video editor. That's like, yeah, I want to edit your stuff because I love what you're doing and I see your passion and I want to help and I want to edit your videos because fuck man, I would do more videos like that. But the editing, I don't have enough time in a day. We spend so much time on research and going through PSRs and proofreading letters and going through letters and making sure the narrative and all the character reference letters are kind of like telling the same story, that by the time it gets time where I have time to go edit something, all I want to do is crawl into a hole. My eyes are bloodshot. I can no longer see. And then to stare at these 2 giant monitors for 3 or 4 hours of editing for a 30-minute video can be very, very tedious. That's why I don't do more of them. Tam. I see from your messages. Sarah, you're going to get through it. You know, you just got to take one day at a time. And right now you're putting so much thought on this. You know, you got to realize this is a life that you chose to be a part of, and you got to realize that there's going to be many days like this that are going to be bad days. So you got to find a way to focus on something positive. It's no different. Somebody's getting ready to go to prison. It's a sad moment in their life. They got to find something to take their mind out of it. Just like right now, you're dealing with not being able to talk to your loved one. You have to find something to replace that dwelling state of mind that you're in, and get out of it, because there's nothing worrying is going to do except make you sick. The worries and the stress. This could be awful for their mental state. It is awful for their mental state, but they find a way to get used to it. They get accustomed to it. It never is fun, but they get used to it. It's not going to be forever, 30 days, whatever it is, 45 days, who knows what the actual time frame is going to be. But we just got a new member. Who was the new member? We just got a new member to rdapdan's website. Let me know who it was. I'll give you a shout out. It doesn't show me the name on here. Maybe Nikki? Somebody named Nikki in the room? Sarah, the one thing I noticed with a lot of prison wives, this is something that I see a lot going into the different rooms, is there's a lot of oh my God, the USP is on lockdown again. Why do they keep doing this? There's a lot of the same repetitive behavior, almost to the point where some people would go as far to say as they enjoy the drama. Gives them something to focus on. Even being negative and upset about the situation gives them this weird feeling of enjoyment. You have to ask yourself, don't allow yourself to fall into that pitfall. Don't allow yourself to just, oh my God, again. Just realize it's going to happen. People are going to, they're in prison. There's people in prison that are going to make stupid choices that are going to affect your loved one all the time. You've got to find ways to just, it's not the end of the world. He's going to get through this. Pick up a book. If you haven't picked up, that's not in here. If you haven't picked up Awaken the Giant Within from Tony Robbins, and I don't care if you're a book reader or not a book reader. I was not a major book reader. However, Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, I should be getting paid for promoting this man's book, because I talk about this book religiously. I guarantee you there's been copies sold because of rdapdan. This book has a way to not allow you to dwell on negativity because of what the book says to you. It's just, you feel like it's speaking to you. I'm glad that you're here in the room. And you're here in the room for a reason, because you enjoy the community. And some people are here for advice. Some people are here just to listen. Some people are here just to see what the topic of the day is. But if there's anything that we ever say on this show that might be suitable for you in this very moment, is stop dwelling on things that you cannot control. You can't control how long they're going to be on lockdown, and you can't control what's going to happen next. More than likely, he's safe. He's in a cell with somebody else. They're probably playing cards. They're probably made some makeshift dice out of toilet paper. They're writing notes. They're writing letters. He's probably entering his inner mind and doing something constructive right now that might ultimately be better for him. Tamara, do a little preaching while you're in here. Tamara's son, if she's still in here, has been in lockdown for I don't know how long, months now. He's been in lockdown, part of it willingly, because he doesn't want to go back out into population. However, he's got to a point where he enjoys it because of the new level of mindfulness he's created, and how he has hurt people, and things that he's done to people to put himself in this situation that are affecting his friends and family. That's hopefully what your loved one is doing in there. If your loved one is there just going, oh, this shit's stupid, this isn't fair, this is dumb, why do I got to... If that's what he keeps going through, and he's not allowing himself to expand beyond that, he might have deeper issues than you or I are even aware of. So you got to hope. And if he's not, maybe you need to bring it to his awareness. Maybe you need to say, hey, next time you're on lockdown, why don't you plan for that? Why don't you have something set aside that you know you're going to read this book, but you're not going to do it until you're on lockdown. So now you've already you've already come to terms with, I'm going to be on lockdown again at some point. This is the book that I plan on reading on this lockdown. So you've got your books that are set aside that you want to read, but you're not going to do them until you get into that lockdown state of mind. Because now you're prepared to do something that you're not caught off guard. Oh shit, I don't have any books. I'm on lockdown with no books. It's like getting caught in the rain with no umbrella, knowing it's going to rain at some point. You know, you don't go to the store without money. You know the store is going to ask you for money. Prison is going to put you on lockdown. So have some tools in your belt so when you are on lockdown, you have something to get you through it other than bitching and complaining and talking shit about how unfair it is. Because that's not going to get us anywhere. There you go. Get a copy for yourself too, though. Both of you read it. Read it together. That's what me and Shelly did. When I got it and I enjoyed it so much, I immediately called her mom and said, send Shelly this book. And then we could do like book reports back and forth. Well, what did you think of this chapter? Well, what did you think about this page? And it was kind of neat because, look, the book really does talk to you. It really does give you some amazingly insightful information on how you can stop dwelling, on how you can turn your painful moments into positive by replacing your pain with pleasure, making sure you don't go through these same cycles, not allowing yourself to dwell on something for more than a couple of seconds, and it just requires practice. It gives you a new approach on life, and in prison, it completely changed my life. I wasn't in a hardened prison where I was fearful for my life, but I was still in prison. I was still down. I was still missing my kids. I was still sad that I had to do this. It still felt like forever. 20 minutes into that book, I mean, the first 20 minutes was the milestone, the pinpoint where my life shifted into a different direction. It never looked back from that first 20 minutes. Now, there's been setbacks, there's been issues, but I'm always able to mindfully catch it now and get myself, breaking my microphone, get myself back on track. That's what it's all about. It's okay to fall off the bike, but get back up and keep going. You fall back, you get up and move. Well, there you go. Send Tony Robbins a message. Say, because of you, thanks. I appreciate that, though. That's, I love that book. To this day, I like reference that book all of the time. And, the online version or the paper version that you printed is also very useful. Laws of attraction. You got to be careful with, what's the other book? 48 Laws of Power, right? Stay away from that book. Actually, a lot of prisons have banned that book. That book is pretty much teaches you, if you're already kind of a shady character and you've already got some manipulative ways, that book is all about honing in and sharpening them skills. So avoid 48 Laws of Power by all cost. You're talking about, read Laws of Attraction first. Is that a Tony Robbins book? That book was messed up. It was very messed up. I was so excited to read that book. My friend Josh had it. And I was like, man, I can't wait for you to finish reading it. I want to read it. 30 minutes into the book, I was on the top bunk. And I closed it and I leaned down over the bunk. I'm like, yo, does this book seem like it's telling you how to like fuck people over and not really care about it? And he's like, no. I'm like, what did you get from this book? And after we spoke about it, he's like, here, read my book. And he read my book. And he's like, yeah, that book's a little crazy. And then it wasn't a month later, all of a sudden we got a notice saying that book was no longer allowed. And they got rid of it out of the prison now, but it wasn't even allowed. At first, it wasn't allowed in RDAP. RDAP is real strict on what kind of books you can read. Can't have any of those like sexual romance novels, like a lot of the urban novels that are in prison. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because you haven't been in prison. But if you've been in prison, those urban novels are intense. It's like eye porn for, the visuals that it paints in your mind is just, Jesus, who writes this stuff? And they sell like hotcakes. I need to get an ad in those books. rdapdan. Problem is nobody will fucking see the ad. It does teach you to be sneaky, very sneaky, sneaky. And that's not what we do. There's no sneaky here. Eye porn. Eye porn. I just made the move to iPhone. I finally switched from Galaxy. I got all kinds of notifications. Probably need to check that. But I got this new iPhone and I'm absolutely loving it. Shelley was a big fan. Shelley, why are you laughing? I wonder what books Shelley's reading right now. If I showed you Shelley's list of books in her picture, you'd be like, she's reading those books? Yeah. My girlfriend's been to prison. You can tell. She's got some prison books. Not going to tell you what kind. Let your imagination go crazy. But I'm absolutely loving the iPhone. It's quite enjoyable. Haven't had any of the same issues that I've had with Galaxy or Android. So oh, yeah, Shelly just threw herself under the... I am an Android trader. Absolutely. I was an Android man for life. I've had Galaxy 6, 7. I've had them all way before I went to prison. After prison, had the S7 Edge. That was the last one. And after about 4 months, they just stopped working right. They're slow. They're clunky. The service is the service to service. That depends on who your carrier is. But I'm talking about the processor and the computer and the use of it. And this iPhone, I'm enjoying it. It's the what is it? The iPhone X, 10X, or I don't know, iPhone X. I guess that's what you call it, right? But I'm really enjoying it. And Comcast or Xfinity Television, whatever you want to call them, they have phone plans now that they offer through Verizon Network, and they offered me a really good deal. And for having their home services, I decided to add my cell phone to Xfinity. So yeah, I'm an Xfinity mobile iPhone user now. So, but you know what's cool? In case you don't know, if you're an Android user and you happen to have like one of the Galaxy, this should be like a tech video. Galaxy, one of the Gear watches. The Gear watches, like I've got the Gear S2 watch, and it works with Apple iOS. Came to find out that these Gear 2 watches don't have Samsung proprietary software in them. It's a third-party software that works with both Galaxy and Apple. So I still was able to use my watch. I'm very excited about that. It's a good idea. Jenny, make a note on that. Let's recommend a book every month. And, well, Jenny's our note taker. Amazing note taker. If I ever lose Jenny, I will put this tack in my eyeball. So no walking off, Jenny. No more walk-offs around here. Anyway, guys, that's about all I got, because now we're talking about poking out my eye and the kind of phone I have and watch I have, so we're clearly beyond the topic. So I should not read Laws of Attraction. I don't know. Is Laws of Attraction the same thing as 48 Laws of Power? If it's not, great idea. I mop floors and do windows. Perfect. All right, guys. I'm going to take off, go get some food. I'm rdapdan, Federal Prison Time. Go check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Definitely go over to our website, rdapdan.com. If you haven't already become a member, become a member, because it's free. And we're going to have really awesome, cool stuff on there. We're going to add new stuff to it every single month. And I don't know what we're adding this month, but we will add something really cool. See you. Yep, I'll be back tomorrow night. You're paying attention, Sarah. I'm going to be on tomorrow night interviewing. Instead of my Wednesday interview, we're going to do it tomorrow night. So be back tomorrow. You guys, everybody should be getting the text message. rdapdan, Federal Prison Time. I love every single one of you. And until then, people helping people. Community is method. One day at a time. Peace.